Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Sunday on this channel where we normally talk about all things sci-fi, fantasy, and comic book related, but it also happens to be the month of Halloween. So we're going to be breaking down the latest episode of Agatha All Along, episode 7, and this is going to be a very spoiler-related breakdown, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so we have to talk about Agatha All Along. And in order to do that, we have to give spoilers for this video because we're not able to actually talk about this series anymore without these major spoilers. So this is going to be a complete breakdown with all the spoilers. So if you haven't seen the show yet, go ahead and stop the video and watch the latest episode and then come back. We will be waiting here for you. That being said, let's jump into the breakdown of Agatha All Along, episode 7. Agatha All Along, episode 7 is called Death's Hand in Mine, and it follows Agatha and Billy as they continue along the road. As they continue along the road, they find themselves looking at a castle. When they go into the castle, they are transformed into fairy tale characters, essentially Disney related and Wizard of Oz related, that type of thing, with Agatha playing the role of the Wicked Witch of the West and Billy embodying the role of Maleficent. Now, they find themselves looking at some tarot cards, and the idea of the trap this time, the test this time, is to actually put the tarot cards in the right order. And they have swords hanging up above. And one wrong move and a sword comes down and hits the ground. The idea, of course, being that they have to do this without getting themselves killed. Now, we haven't seen anything with Rio. However, we get to see Jen. And we get to see Lilia. Lilia wakes up and saves Jen from the Salem 7, who are catching up to them. They manage to escape, but while they're escaping, we get an insight into Lilia's mind. It turns out that Lilia's life has sort of been living out of order. She has memories or flashbacks, if you will, of events that have happened, and sometimes events that haven't even happened yet. So flash forward. But the thing of this is that she says to her that she is living life out of order and that sometimes she sees things. Alright, so this little bit of information comes in handy because every time she sees something, she's able to then tell Jen what's going to happen. And she apparently has been telling Jen, because as we're flashing back and flashing forward with her, Jen is telling her things. And she goes, wait a minute, how do you know this? And she's like, you told me. So part of the episode seems a little bit out of place, but in a really cool way. It takes us on the journey along with Lilia. So we actually get to see what she's seeing, and we don't actually get to see what's going on in order because we're following from her point of view. Even in the parts where it is Agatha and Billy, we only get the first part playing in order. Once we see them come into play and we see them come into the picture, then it sort of takes place out of order, but it's all in her mind. It's all what she's going through. And I think that really worked for this episode. I think it made it really cool because we never know what's going to be happening next. But all of it is very handy information that we're being given. And it's also very helpful to Jen. So we find out exactly what went down with her as a child, what went down when she met Billy, and all this other stuff kind of falls into place. Now, she also knows that she's going to die, essentially. That's the thing. She knows. So as they're reaching the castle, they run across, or rather, Lilia runs across the personification of death, Rio. Rio has been confirmed and is to be Lady Death. So if you were looking at who's going to play Lady Death, it is Rio, which is Aubrey Plaza's character. And I think this is perfect. I absolutely love this. I think it's wonderful. So they finally do make it to the castle. When they make it to the castle, we already know because she's sort of had these flashbacks, flash forwards, and all this, that Lilia is dressed like Glinda, and Jen is dressed like the hag version of the evil queen. Now, Lilia knows that this test is hers, and she begins to work it. She begins to put the cards where they should be and the orders they should be and everything else to try to prevent everybody's death. Now, this sort of results in her flipping the cards around because the Salem 7 is approaching and they are coming for Agatha. They might even be coming for all of them at this point. And Lilia knows this. She's foreseen what's going to happen. So she makes them escape and then she proceeds to flip the card around. And when she does, she perishes and the Salem 7 all get impaled. Or most of the Salem 7, I should say, get impaled. So it looks like she is dead, and most of the Salem 7, if not all of the Salem 7, is dead as well. This is a great episode because it really does lean into what I've been saying about all the witches having their own test, having their own thing to go through, and also that they're not really going to be working with each other so much anymore, but they're going to be forced to. So even though she doesn't trust Agatha, even though she doesn't really trust the kid, and that issue does come up in the show as well, she kind of addresses that she's mad at him at one point, but then she forgives him at another point in the same time period. So it works out that they don't trust each other, they don't like each other, and they have to work together. And now we are down to 3 of these witches. 3 witches left walking along the road. And that's going to be something major because now that tells me that in the next episode, we are going to see the death probably of Jen. Jen isn't going to make it out of this series alive. I think the only 2 that are going to make it out of the series alive are Agatha and Billy. And of course, Lady Death herself, played by Aubrey Plaza. What this tells us is that the end battle is closer than any of them want to believe. And they can see the writing on the wall. They definitely know that they are reaching the end of the road by this point. So they're preparing themselves, I think, a little bit more. They know they have to work together. So I believe they will continue to work together. But this is going to be very interesting. Because now, most of the Salem 7 is dead, if not all of them. That leaves that big battle that I've been anticipating for this entire series. I said that I don't think that we're going to get a battle where it's going to be the Salem 7 versus Agatha. I think we are looking at something bigger. Billy versus Agatha, or maybe even, like I said, a Scarlet Witch. If it's not the Scarlet Witch, a version of Scarlet Witch facing off against Agatha is where we're heading. And this episode was amazing. It really leaned into kind of feeling like you were learning more about the characters. And that's what's been working about this series. You're learning more about these characters. You're caring more about them. So every time one of them dies, you do feel a little something for them. And I think that's what they wanted to do. So by the time Jen dies, I know everybody's going to be really sad about that as well. And then wondering, is anybody safe? It's going to come down to Billy and Agatha walking along the road alone in the last episode, more than likely. But who is this final boss? Who's controlling everything? Is it Mephisto? Is it someone else? That is the part that excites me the most about this series, and that's what makes me think that this series is going to continue to thrill me right up until the end. Now, I also want to tell you that the song The Witch's Road is available on a soundtrack for Agatha All Along. You can find it on Apple, and I'm sure you can find it in other places. I had to get this song because it continues to run through my mind over and over again. It is a very catchy song, and I love a good song that sort of from something horror related to put on a Halloween playlist around this time. So that song has been added to my Halloween playlist of music that I listen to kind of get in the mood for Halloween. I wanted to let you guys know that because if the song's going through your head as well, you can find it. It is available. But I want to know what you guys think about this. Did you watch the episode? What did you think about it? Are you worried about any of the characters? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think there's a possibility Jen gets out alive? Do you think that maybe one or two of the Salem 7 will survive and make it to the end as well? And what do you think of Aubrey Plaza as Lady Death? I mean, come on, that was epic. That was a great scene, and I so loved her makeup. And then, do you think Agatha and Billy are going to have to work together for the final battle? Or do you think this is going to end up pitting them against each other in one big epic showdown? And more importantly, Billy's still looking for Tommy. And in the end, do you think we get to see Tommy make a comeback as well? Let me know exactly what you guys think. I definitely want to hear what you think is going to happen and what you hope is going to happen with this show, because it has been an awesome ride. As always, we want to hear from you guys, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below. Let us know what you think. Also, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're definitely going to want to be a part of this strange conversation as well. Then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. And Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at the space. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.